Hi, I'm Jeff Haynes, editor at Tech Bargains, and today we're bringing you a video review of the iPad 2. The iPad literally revolutionized the way that people thought about portable computing, and as 2010 rolled on, many people started wondering about what exactly the next generation of iPad would bring. Many people wondered if the device would be larger in any way, if the screen resolution would be any sharper, or if there would be external storage capabilities. 3 weeks ago, Steve Jobs put all of these rumors to rest by unveiling the iPad 2, a smaller, faster, and slightly more augmented version of its predecessor. At first glance, the iPad 2 doesn't seem as though it's radically different than the original iPad. Both devices come in 16, 32, or 64GB versions, feature a maximum battery life of 10 hours, and hosts a 9.7-inch LED backlit screen with a native resolution of 1024 by 768. Both systems offer Wi-Fi or 3G connections to the internet, although Verizon has joined AT&T in offering a 3G network for the platform. However, turn the devices to the side or pick them up, and the differences quickly become apparent. While most of the dimensions of the iPad 2 are virtually identical to the original, the new device is 33% thinner and 15% lighter than the original tablet. It's these subtle differences that stand out with the iPad 2. Particularly since the thinner, lighter design makes the device fit into your hands much better than the original. Also, since it's not as heavy, you can definitely hold the tablet for extended gaming, reading, or browsing without feeling like your hands will get weighed down or tired. It may seem like a minor adjustment, but it's one that you'll definitely enjoy after multiple hours of use. Similarly, Apple decided to include 2 cameras for the device, allowing you to take pictures or video with the tablet. Or you can communicate with other iPads, iPhones, iPod Touches, and Macs via FaceTime, which may appeal to some users that want a more personal, face-to-face connection during a phone call or messaging session. Finally, Apple conceded to the wishes of its fan base and launched the iPad 2 with a choice of black or white models. It may not be what die-hard iPhone fans have been looking for, but at least it indicates that Apple is listening to its users for once, which could bode well for the inevitable launch of the iPhone 5. Apple also tried to pay attention to the issues of typing on the iPad and watching videos by releasing a new accessory called the Smart Cover, which is a surprisingly useful item. It magnetically attaches to your iPad 2, acting as protection for your tablet screen. The inside of the cover has a microfiber lining that will help clean your screen. Not enough to fully erase all of your fingerprints, but enough to get the major things out of the way. When affixed and closed, it automatically puts the iPad 2 to sleep and wakes it up when removed. But it can also be used as a keyboard stand as well as a FaceTime and movie stand in landscape format. It's very useful for such a small accessory, and since it comes in 10 different colors, it's easy to find one that you like. However, the real star of the redesigned iPad 2 is the brand new dual-core A5 chip that runs at 1 GHz and comes with 512 MB of RAM. The beauty of the A5 chip is found within the overall experience of the device. Web pages load much faster with less lag, even on image-heavy sites. App launches are much quicker, and multitasking between separate programs is more seamless than before. This enhanced speed is also designed to expand the graphical processing of the previous iPad, making images and textures pop on the screen, and aiding in movie watching or media production. Impressively, Apple managed to slim the shape of the device and increase the horsepower under the hood of the iPad 2 without touching the battery life one bit. The tablet will get around 10 hours of battery life on a single charge, which will vary depending upon use. If you're continually downloading a lot of apps, playing memory-intensive games, or watching a lot of streamed media, your battery life could be cut by about an hour or so. That's to be expected, but for the most part it holds up to its advertised battery life, which is excellent. Of course, while you can use the iPad 2 for email, watching movies, listening to music, taking notes, or organizing your personal calendar, you can also find a ton of programs that you can check out thanks to the App Store, which is scattered across 20 different categories. Whether it's finding a new book to read, source of news, or a game to play, there are more than 300,000 apps on the store for you to check out. Sure, not all of them are fantastic, but given the fact that apps are added and updated on a daily basis, you should easily find something that fits your particular needs. That leads me to my final point, which is simply that it's an iPad. Just as the iPod changed the way we listen to music, and the iPhone changed the way we make phone calls, the iPad is subtly changing computing in the 21st century. The iPad 2 simply takes all of those features and delivers it to you faster, slimmer, and arguably better. Even with all of these advantages, there's still some problems with the iPad 2. For one thing, the newly included cameras for the system are pretty bad. While the rear camera will allow you to capture video in 720p, they're less than a megapixel when it comes to taking shots or footage, so your media winds up being very grainy and really unimpressive. As a result, you're really not going to see people wasting their time taking photos or videos with their iPad, or engaging in FaceTime discussions. It was a great idea to include them in the redesign, but it was horribly executed. Another issue that crops up is that there really isn't anything that takes full advantage of the newly designed hardware, specifically the additional power of the A5 chip. We can only associate some of this blame to the extremely shallow window between the announcement of the tablet specs 3 weeks ago and the release of the system, which is only 2 weeks old. As of now, only a handful of games, like Infinity Blade and Dead Space 2, have tried to take advantage of the system, updating their gameplay with sharper textures. None are fully using the newly included gyroscope or pushing the A5 to its limits. But we expect this issue to be alleviated in a few months as developers get more time with the tablet and figure out how to best use it. That of course brings up another issue, which some might see as one of the largest attractions of the iPad 2. While there are some changes to the device, it's not a radical evolution of the product. As mentioned earlier, many of the features or functions found in the iPad 2 are exactly the same as the original. Apple has been notorious for releasing a revolutionary product as a first-generation device, and then releasing minute adjustments or changes that, while useful, aren't a massive step forward in form or function. This was the case with the iPod and the iPhone, and it's obvious that the same cycle has occurred with the iPad 2. Further complicating this issue is the fact that the iPad 2 is still quite expensive. You'll pay $500, $600, or $700 respectively for a 16, 32, or 64 gigabyte tablet, or an extra $130 per device for 3G functionality. That's not counting what you'll pay for a data plan, which can be as low as $15 and as high as $80 depending upon carrier. That's a huge premium for a device that's only gotten a slight facelift and overhaul. Sleeker and faster while maintaining many of the features of its predecessor, the iPad 2 easily upholds its reputation as the tablet to beat on the market. Thanks to the strength of the App Store, a stronger, more powerful processor, the maintenance of the 10-hour battery life, and its reputation as an iPad, the iPad 2 is easily one of the must-have gadgets of 2011. And if sales from North America and around the world are any indication, this will be one of the must-have gadgets of the year. Unfortunately, this comes at a price. There are only a few minor upgrades to the device. The cameras that were attached to it are somewhat shoddy and substandard, and currently, developers aren't fully taking advantage of the increased horsepower and processing. We do expect that to change, but it does raise a rather interesting question. If you've never had an iPad, this is a great opportunity to get your hands on a solid piece of technology. On the other hand, of course, if you own an original iPad, you may want to wait and see exactly how developers take advantage of the new platform, or possibly wait until iPad 3 is announced. For these reasons, we decided to give the iPad 2 a 4 out of 5. For the latest updates and reviews, as well as coupons and deals on gadgets like the iPad 2, make sure to check out techbargains.com.